Welcome to MustLoveMMA.com and MMAFightFans.com. I'm Susan Tagori. This week on our show, we have TUF contestant Pat Walsh from Ultimate Fighter 19 joining us via Skype from Massachusetts. So Pat, how has being on TUF 19 changed your life as a fighter?
Nothing with my training or anything has changed too much. Just going to a grocery store and getting noticed is definitely a little different. The exposure is great. It's just something I'll definitely have to get used to.
What was the most surprising element you found being on TUF 19 this year for you as a fighter?
Surprising? Really, nothing really jumped out. I kind of had an idea of what it's going to be like living in a house with 16, alpha males. But yeah, nothing too surprising. Just the fact that you have to get used to being filmed 24 hours a day. I think that's the only thing that was a little bit of a shock to me. I mean, I expected it, but having it done is definitely something that's completely different.
You have an interesting story I read on your blog about how you actually slept in a car to get into the Ultimate Fighter house. Let's talk a little bit about that.
The trials for the Ultimate Fighter, it was a weird point in my life. I had just moved to Providence, Rhode Island. I had a nice sales job. I put down a first, last, and security in an apartment. And I really didn't have the money to be traveling, to be trying out for this opportunity, but it was just something I couldn't pass up. So I had the money to fly out, but I didn't have the money for a hotel. It was a little rough. It's kind of that difference between either eating or sleeping outside. So I chose sleeping outside the hotel just to save a little bit of money and be able to fly back home. So it was a little rough, not really getting much sleep, but still being able to try out for the Ultimate Fighter the next morning.
In episode 3, Todd Monaghan gave a sermon. Did you find that inspiring, or was it just a bunch of BS?
Todd is really into it. I'm someone that's very interested in religion. I wasn't the most religious person growing up, but being in the house, having the Bible, the only thing you can read, was definitely something that influenced me a lot. I was able to read the Bible just about front to back because we had so much time, so much downtime. It was the only thing we were able to read. So it was definitely something for me. It was something that, I enjoyed. I don't think it was complete BS. This is something that Todd's devoted his life to. He's trying to share that with us. So I can understand the perspective and some people looking at it a different way, but he has his way of thinking, his way of doing things. And, I was open to what he had to share. So I definitely attended, and I actually enjoyed the time we had on Sundays.
You had some back issues early on in this show. How is your back feeling now?
My back feels great today. I'm definitely 100%. I just had a bad flare-up. I herniated a disc when I was about 18 years old, and it's something that once in a while I'll get a flare-up. It was real bad on the show. It was definitely something that worried me, but I was able to get through it. And for the Anton fight, I was close to 100%, so it really didn't affect me too much. And when you're in a fight, that adrenaline, I mean, even if your back's in spasm, you're still able to compete at relatively a high percentage. So.
All right, what's up with the Fat Pat jokes?
So when I got into the house, I didn't grow up, with an unlimited grocery list. So it was kind of cool that you could eat whatever you wanted. And I was probably the one that was kind of foraging a little bit more than everyone else. So the fact that I was snacking a ton, I didn't really worry about my weight too much. I was always eating. And the fact that, I was probably one of the few kids without a six-pack on the show. They just joked around about that. It was all in good fun. It didn't bother me much, but it's kind of an interesting nickname. Definitely something I don't want to hold on to. But I'm sure once I drop down to 185, it won't stick anymore.
In the first round, Berzin had your back, but you managed to escape. Then it looked like you went for a guillotine. And then at 2:45, approximately, when you took him down, were you surprised he was able to get to his feet so quickly?
No, Anton's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's one of the best grapplers in the house. He's definitely someone that's able to scramble and recover, and he's been doing it, for a long time. So I wasn't surprised. I just knew I had to keep moving forward and grinding it out. So and that's what I tried doing the first round, second round, and moving forward.
From my perspective, it looked like you were very dominant in round 2. Were you surprised that it went to a round 3?
No, because you get scored by different rounds. I was pretty sure that I lost the first round. Anton had my back for the majority of the first round. So I definitely agree with the fact that I lost the first round, and won the second. So going into the third, it was something where I did lose the first, I won the second, and going into the third, I think I had more momentum. So it was definitely something that I was motivated for, but I completely agree with the decision to go to the third.
Congratulations on your win. How pleased are you with your performance then?
I'm definitely pleased. I did everything I could. I would have liked to have finished, but definitely can't complain about the W. Anton, I think is a top-ranked 205er. I still think he's a top 205er. Stylistically, I'm sure he could have beat just about anyone in the house. I was probably the worst matchup for him, but yeah, I was just real excited to move far in the house and have an opportunity to compete in the semifinals. So it's definitely something that I'm happy with. Again, you can always do better, but I'm moving forward. So.
You mentioned earlier today that there's been some things going on with Twitter. Let's talk a little bit about that and the recent fight. Anton's really being bashed on Twitter for, his performance, him talking so much, talking himself out, kind of doubting me as a fighter. And people are kind of bashing on me, saying he's not that good and he should be better and this and that. And it's just interesting to hear these Twitter followers that are sitting behind their computers kind of talking a little trash about Anton. And he's someone that I still respect. He's a great fighter. And for people to kind of put down the quality of the show, put down these fighters, I would love to see any of these guys get in the cage with Anton, because they would definitely have the hands full with a kickboxer that has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Good point. Question, is the blue team too cocky?
The blue team, I think they're confident. It's definitely a good way to compete. It's just not realistic. At this point in the show, some of their good kids are knocked out. Tim's knocked out. Anton's knocked out. Really, they're obviously losing momentum right now, and they're definitely gonna start getting real nervous when our guys are beating them, and they have no more top guys. So, that cockiness, it's a good way going into competition. Everyone kind of has to have that feel, have that front going on. Especially when you're trying to win this TV show. So the cockiness, it's just a way to live. It's fine by me, but it's definitely not gonna stick around.
How would you describe Frankie Edgars' coaching style?
Frankie Edgars' coaching style, he's a go-getter. He just goes after it. It's hard, it's intense, it's focused on endurance, cardio, and strategy. He's a great wrestler. That's developed some of the best striking in the game. It's something that I wanna resemble Frankie Edgar. I wanna train like him. I wanna fight like him. All those guys, all the greats, that took their wrestling background and transitioned to MMA. Someone like Mark Coleman, being a wrestler and then going into MMA and being dominant. Same thing with Frankie. Those styles and coaching abilities. Those are things that I'm just happy I'm allowed to be around.
Which fighter on the show do you have the most respect for, do you think?
The fighter on the show I have the most respect for, it's definitely Ian Stevens. He's just coming off a loss, and he's the most level-headed guy in the house. We're all frustrated. We're stressed out. We think that he should have won, and he's being so cool, so calm and collected. He's still focusing on training.
Yeah.
And his career, even though he's knocked out of the house, he's the most optimistic person, and he's out of the tournament. And not just out of the tournament, but I think he was completely robbed of his fight. So it's frustrating, and he's a bigger man than me. I don't think I could have handled it as well as he did.
Interesting. Which fighter on the show do you have the least respect for? I think I might know the answer to this one.
At this point, I think everyone knows the answer. Roger Zapata. When I was involved in the show and the filming, I couldn't see all the behind the scenes stuff. I didn't see what they were doing in their own time. But the fact that Roger's, boasting about, a win that he shouldn't have had, talking about his elbows and they sent Ian to the hospital. It's just embarrassing. If I won in that fashion, I would be embarrassed. And the fact that he's celebrating it is definitely something that frustrates me. I mean, I don't really have anything against him. It's just a lack of respect.
I know since the show is still going on, you can't give away any of the rest of the season, but can you give me any hints as to what other highlights upcoming that our viewers can take a look at this before the end of this season this year?
Absolutely not.
Come on, just a little one?
Dana White was very clear on not giving hints. He actually said, "Don't tell your dog." is how he phrased it. And it's something that I like. I enjoy the fact that no one knows either how well I did or how well I didn't do. That suspense, that build up going into each episode is something that I respect and actually really enjoy.
We can talk a little bit about the fact that you are back in Massachusetts and you are working at a new gym. You have a new gym you just opened up. So let's talk a little bit about that, if you will.
Victory Combat Academy. This is actually my second gym. This is the only gym I have 100% ownership in. But Victory Combat Academy, 386 Lindelof Ave in Stoughton, Massachusetts. It's my hometown. It's where I grew up. I still coach wrestling for Stoughton High. And to have a mixed martial arts gym that I can, bring all my friends, my training partners at, I feel very comfortable in. And it's a great home base. It's a fun place. We have some great trainers, great fighters out of there. Actually, John Howard, Doomsday, is coming by tonight.
Wow.
He fights in the UFC. So we have a really cool staff and a lot of great guys, that come in and support the gym. So if anyone out there wants to check it out, come see me.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Follow me on Twitter, Pat Walsh MMA. I always appreciate the support, and it's real cool to hear from fans and to interact with them.
Pat Walsh, I thank you very much. And something tells me we're going to be seeing a lot more of you coming up. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Well, that's all from here. I'd like to thank Pat Walsh for being on the show this week, and I wish him good luck in all his future MMA endeavors. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel below, and you can also watch our video news reports at MMAfightfans.com. And remember, every fighter has a story. Thanks for joining us.